I didn't think about it until you said, like, wow, that crosses over way outside of music.
I'm glad you recognize that. I thought I was just talking about songwriting.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of The Check-In. We are here in season 6. We're talking about being built different. And I am the host and the honored person to be here with the amazing DSmoke for this week's episode, man. Brother, welcome to The Check-In with Black Menswear.
Thank you for having me.
Man, you look clean,
pleasure
too.
To be
you
here,
know what
man.
I mean?
Thank you. I'm chilling.
I love it. I love it, man. So, for those that don't know, every time we open up an episode, I like to ask this question to get into the mind of my guest.
Mm-hmm.
What is one quote or statement or mantra that you live by, something you heard a long time ago that never left, that really resonates with you?
I have a background as a teacher. So,
Come on now.
As a teacher, my job was to find whatever that special gift or thing is inside a person and bring that out, right? Regardless of me teaching Spanish. And so the quote that stuck with me, I believe it was Einstein that said, everybody's a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, that fish will always, and I'm paraphrasing, grow up feeling like it's inadequate. And I think as an educator, you can utilize that quote, but as just a person, if you view yourself as the fish, like what is the environment that best suits you, and how do you put yourself in that place so you can, move according to your natural gifts.
That's rather profound. Obviously, Einstein's a profound person.
Sure,
like when you break it down, though, it's like,
but he got plenty of them too.
Yeah, he does. He does. So like, Grammy-nominated and former educator, bilingual lyricist. You know what I'm saying? All of these things that define who you are.
Mm-hmm. Do
you live your life by that quote as well? Of like, don't let me judge myself against things that aren't even me.
That's. I wish I did. I like putting myself outside of the water, or outside of my comfort zone. Just because I'm super privileged, and not in the common sense of the word. I didn't grow up in Beverly Hills and all that stuff, but in the sense that I had brilliant parents, both of them in their own right. My mother was a minister of music, incredible musician, world renowned, playing with people like Michael Jackson, Tina Turner, all kind of writing songs that went all around the world. And then my father was just a natural born teacher, and so with him, being a mentor and a tutor in the house, me and my brothers, Sir alike, Davion alike, we all felt like we had natural advantages going out into schools, going into sports, just because the level of investment that was put in us based on our parents and our mentors, like my older brother Ron. So as I continue my own journey of growth, I just always like to challenge myself and put myself outside of the comfort zone, and it's always giving me the most rewards. Right now my daily challenge is working out with Sir. Sir is buffer than me. He eat more than me. But just putting yourself in an environment where you're just challenged. It humbles you. It grounds you a lot. There's a certain amount of meaningful pain that I try to subject myself to. Just so that I don't get all in my head about the things that I do, because whatever I acquire here I can't take with me, but my perspective is golden, and I think grounding is important to keep that perspective healthy.
Man, that's beautiful. Just that grounded aspect. A lot of times we float,
for sure,
and then we catch ourselves up here. It's like, hold on, let me get back to the root of who I am and what I'm here for. You mentioned your brother, you mentioned your family. What's it like to have multiple artists in the house? Like,
it's fun. The beautiful thing about how my mom raised us is that music was always about harmony. She even has a book called Harmony. And the power of harmony is that you're working to complement the people around you. You listen while performing. It's like when you have conversations with people who are harmonious people, they're doing two things at once. They're both communicating their perspective, but they're like listening with the intent to understand and synthesize something very new in that moment. And so with my brothers being so talented, it's both, there is friendly competition without a doubt. You know, sir, if he plays me something that's crazy, I'm for sure going back to the lab, you know. But it's very supportive competition at the same time. And it's always been that. We used to have weekly press plays when we first started doing music. It was like Friday before we go out, like sometime in the evening, everybody would play their stuff. Even this week, you know, Davion wanted to share what he'd been working on and vice versa. So that's how we grew. And I think most artists who make it come from a camp of some sort, you know, like, you know, Tyler the Creator and Our Future. You got Pac and Death Row. You got, you know, Kendrick and TDE, Sir, and both Woodworks and TDE, you know. And so creativity is best cultivated in that kind of space where you got both support and accountability, you know, because it's not so much competition like I gotta beat you, right. But I do gotta, you know, rub shoulders and learn from
I gotta show you that I'm built like this too,
for sure, especially in rap. And the thing is, in my family, I'm the rapper, right? But Circa rap. Davion rapped first, and my oldest brother Ron, he put us on to rap. So, you know, it's just something that we all grow from. Yeah.
When you look back at your discography, right, and you start in the early times, right? We talk about Black Habits, and then we move all the way forward to what you just dropped,
Wake Up Supa.
Wake Up Supa, yes, right? How would you say that you, as an artist and as a person, have developed from your start to your current?
You know, art is interesting in that, you know, audiences have a tendency to fall in love with the way they were introduced to you, right? For example, you know, so many Outkast fans are like, man, the Flute album, what's happening? Or so many Outkast, even as early as The Love Below, what is he doing? Yeah, right. Or you'll ask somebody, a new fan, they think Andre 3000 is Hey Ya and don't know Spotty Yaddy Dopalicious and all that. Right. So for me, I've noticed some of that happening with the fans. They idolize Black Habits, you know, and when you experience a certain degree of fame, there's also this need to be like, okay, my first album, sometimes that first album is really a conglomerate, not a conglomerate, but a composition that includes works from 10 years ago and all that stuff, and you've had so much time to do it. Then you reach a certain level, and the audience expects an album a year and that kind of thing. So you're pulling from less experiences, so to speak. You know, for example, we idolize Kanye's College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation. That three-piece is something special. Of course, later it's more about the craft of making music than it is the craft of like making music. Sometimes even technically, like what does Kanye want to do creatively? Not so much what pieces of himself is he giving us, you know. So for me, the growth, of course, as a rapper, technically is there. You can hear it differently in the verses now. And this album is super special because even post fame and post, you know, Grammy nominations and stuff, the hardships that I experienced that are reflected in this one are just like, you know, immeasurable compared to like, you know, the other albums, War and Wonders and stuff. But if you ask me technically, some of my favorite individual songs are on War and Wonders, that middle piece, you know. But this one, as a body of work, I think it rivals Black Habits because of the places I was able to dig from. Yeah.
How does it feel like when somebody walks up to you or like, oh my God, that's DSmoke, and then they tell you what your music has done for them? Like, what does that feel like for real?
It's very encouraging. To be honest, it's I think back to when me and Sir were living at my storefront. I had a storefront in Inglewood where we had a studio upstairs. Downstairs we had our merch, and we would do events out of that space. But there was a time when there was blow up mattresses and family living together, and you know, we was going to the gym for the shower. You know what I'm saying? It was like that. And but the determination we had to see it through was so high, and our strength was high. And so to remember that so vividly, and then have people walk up to you and be like, "You've impacted my life." You know, it's just I'm grateful that I can, you know, I know a lot of people that make a grip of music that haven't yet got to the point where they know the why. Like, okay, so what is the real impact? And that's not my story. You know, now it's just like, all right, now let's go for number ones. Let's go for, you know, we still want to do that, because I believe music should return to a time when the people who did both very well were the top artists. Stevie Wonder was once a top artist, you know, and he's both inspiring and technically creating beautiful music. So I believe that music should be there. You know, it's an uphill battle, but we in it.
So for those that are maybe new to who you are, what does this last album like project about you? What do you want listeners to walk away with when they listen to Wake Up Supa?
Got you. Wake Up Supa is a call to wake up to myself, right? So it's a journey through Inglewood, through DSmoke self-discovery, pre and post fame, you know. So if you listen to the album, the early parts, it's gonna sound real Inglewood. It's gonna sound real, you know what I'm saying? Aggressive even in some places, and fun in some, which is the hood. The hood is schizo. You know, one moment y'all could be partying outside, water hoses, and then a car pull up and everybody scrambling, you know. So you have that energy, and then later you have this very enlightened, very aware, you know, high frequency smoke, you know. And so that's the journey that I want to take people on. And of course, you have these moments where I just let people into the family struggle that is, you know, enduring loss and growing from it, you know.
Well, I just the technicality of how you just process, and like I can see you reflecting on your music, like you love that, you know what I mean? Like
man. And I haven't. The funny thing is, I've never answered that question the same way.
Yeah.
You know, I have like a written
what
I'm supposed to say.
Right.
But it's just like every time I think about it, it's something you live with it differently, and I think you're supposed to with art. Like, you know, this time it hit me this way. You know, so.
Well, let me ask you then about your process. Like, what part of your creative process brings you like joy? Because I know that's one thing that some people do something for so long and they don't even enjoy it. They just do it because they have to or something. But like, again, how I see you and how I hear you, you find joy in it. So like, what part of the process is it that brings that to you?
The funnest part of my process is playing instruments.
Okay.
Like, I love rapping, you know. I love expressing myself. I used to talk. I used to get in trouble for talking. You know what I'm saying? I got whoopings for talking too much. You know. So I love to rap, but something about playing an instrument is like where words fall short. You can just stumble upon things that express stuff that's inside of you, and that's also what I saw my mother do. You know what I'm saying? Play an instrument and sing. So I think my favorite moments, even when I'm on tour, is when I'm able to rap and play, and then, you know, I do just me and the keys, and I do a whole verse, and you see people looking like, okay, this moment is special. And then the beat drop, and I get up, and then we back at it, you know. And so that's where I get the most joy, because I feel most true to my musical upbringing and my experience as a Ferris/Goucher. But yeah, and then the process, like how I start music or when I start writing raps, I put the beat on, sometimes close my eyes and start mumbling. You know what I'm saying? Find the rhythm, you know. And then But what I like to do, I think the great writers are always writing, right? So when I go into a session with a little bit of an idea of what direction I want to go, and then all that technical skills like mumbling, filling in the blanks, they're really useful when you already have a sense of direction.
Got you.
You know, because a stronger song can be technically different. It could be something completely different than what people are used to. It could be technically bad rhythms and offbeat. But if you're saying something that people know, it's like, dang, I ain't heard that before. They're going to listen. And they might even, it might rub them the wrong way how you put it together. But that's how music is moved forward. People take the technical risks, but what they're saying is so real and hits home so much that people are like, you know, I resonate with that.
Bro, I don't even know if you realize the bar that you just gave in it about life. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you have an idea or a vision of where you want to go, all that middle stuff you're going to figure out.
For sure.
But if you have a plan or like, I want to do this, or I'm going to be this, if the song is going to come out, this is what we're going to talk about, this is how, that's a fact of life. You know what I mean?
Sure.
If we go through life and we look at things of like I'm just here, like, oh, let the music play, I'm going to figure it out. Like, nah, where are we going? I don't know how we going to get there, guy, but we going to get there. We going to make it through this. Same way as you approach music, that's kind of like what I hear, man. That's deep, and that's the balance of the music and the art I see, right?
Absolutely.
Being able to be grounded and be rooted in who you are, but then at the same time understanding like you have an opportunity to shape music, shape culture, shape perspectives, shape people that receive and hear your music, shape the vision and visuals of who they are and themselves. And like that's actually pretty deep. I didn't think about it until you said it. Like, wow, that crosses over way outside of music.
I'm glad you recognize that. I thought I was just talking about songwriting. You know?
Man, so you know, as an artist, like, what's it like to be like, you know, Death Row Records? Like that's iconic. You know what I'm saying? Like we all grow up and it's funny. The show you were on, the name slips me. Yes. You know, to be on there with Snoop, and now be same record label that you know that all of that West Coast beauty came out of.
Yes.
What's it like to be a part of a historic label like that?
It's a good place, man. It's dope when you watch the world relive this history through documentaries and revisit it all the time, and then now you're a part of that story. It's dope. The thing is, you know, some artists will look at it like a privilege, which it is, but for me it's more of a responsibility.
Yeah,
like you know, I could never sit in the studio and just feel like, yeah, this Death Row, so I can just kick back. If this Death Row, like, what are you doing with that?
Gotta do,
So it's a huge, you know, it's a huge undertaking, you know. And so when I did it, but I've never doubted that I'm someone fit to carry that somewhere, you know. I've always said I'm bringing life to Death Row, you know. And so, because I have a different mission than the people that came before me, but there's for sure alignment, you know. Pac came from a legacy of Black Panthers and what he really stood for, you know, it's evident through the music. It's woven in there. Of course, it's at a time where the music industry, there was a lot of pressure to push this gangster rap shit. And otherwise, if he didn't hold that down, you know, would we have seen him to that degree, you know? So now it's a little different. Snoop is very hands-on and very invested in. If you look at who he signs, it's more soulful people than anything. I'm one of the only new rappers. He's still taking care of Corrupt, you know what I'm saying, and Battle Cat, and they're working on a project. But the newer artists are soulful. You got Jane Hancock, you know what I'm saying. You got October London, and these are like soulful social artists, brilliant, you know. And so with rap, I think he has a specific vision for like how to continue it, because you can't get somebody that's trying to be Pac. I'm not trying to be Pac, you know, or Snoop for that matter. But I just think it's kind of I believe the word is serendipitous that Snoop and I had that moment on Rhythm and Flow where he was pressing me, and growing up from the West, you don't get pressed the same way if people think you like a buster.
Right.
Like if you look scary, like
Right.
or you look timid, they might jack you.
Yeah.
But you're not getting banged on.
For
They
sure.
might just be like, "Give me all your shit."
Yeah,
boo.
for sure. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but you're not getting pressed like, "Hey, where you from?"
Yeah.
By the time they do that, it's because they see something in you that reflects strength
Mm-hmm.
or
Mhm.
poise or a threat, you know. And mind you, that in that moment, Snoop and I, we were in the West Coast auditions. Everybody went up there and said who they were and where they were from jump. So he had heard me say it.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was the only person he asked that and we had that moment was, even then, was a nod. Like,
For
like,
sure.
I see you.
That's their respect.
I see you, but let me know what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so there were multiple ways I could have responded to that. It was just, I chose how to, stand on mine.
Yeah.
But that was our first interaction was so meaningful that it's like every time we connected since, Snoop don't pick up his phone. He don't be all distracted. It's like we have lock-in moments. And he's that kind of guy. I think his character is such that he wants to be fully present when he's in the room. If not, he go handle his stuff.
Yeah.
And that's what I respect about him and the movement he's creating, so, and again, I'm my own man still. And even our agreement reflects that. Like, you still DSmoke, representing Woodworks Records, the record company you started with Sir and Davion and all that.
For sure. What's it like, man? We talk a little bit about the Wood and being from Inglewood. Like, it's crazy to see the juxtaposition of Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
You got Inglewood, Crenshaw, Long Beach, Hollywood, Beverly Hills. Like, what's it like to be from a city that is so glitz and glamour, but at the same time it's so true to the people that are from here? Like, how is it growing up in that type of environment where you see all this, but you like, I mean, I see that, but that's not how we living.
Right. What's funny is, as teenagers, you don't have the luxury of paying close attention to the Hollywood version of LA.
Yeah.
Right. As an adult, it wasn't until I started meeting so many transplants, people just like, I'm from Schenectady or whatever. I'm from way out here, and I moved to LA to pursue my dreams. And they got that twinkle in their eye and stuff. And then I remember I was on tour with Sir in 2017. I was just playing keys behind him, and some girls that we had met like in another city, they were like, "Oh, you from LA? What's some place to eat?" And I was like, "I don't know," And somebody who lived in LA but wasn't from LA was like, "Oh, you can go here, here, here," and they named all these places that me and Sir was like, "What's that?"
Didn't even know about them.
Nah.
And
then so they was like, "How come you don't know?" They tried to flash on us, and we was like, "Bro, we know whose house to go to get some food.
Right.
We know the hole in the walls. We know where to get the good food for the low." And that's when I realized it's two different LAs at all times. It's this experience that people who move there that aren't from there, have, and then there's people who know how to navigate the buses from, that live south of the 10. So, but we take it gives such a sense of pride to the artists who come from LA.
Absolutely.
Whether it be the Crenshaw district. You saw how Nip moved.
Yeah.
Nip moved like a prophet and a warrior at the same time. And when his presence didn't change, whether he was around Puff or you know what I'm saying, or the media, you know what I'm saying, or a security guard at a what was that, an award ceremony.
Oh
he gonna be Nip. And that's and in the same sense, I think that's what people were seeing when Snoop pressed me, and it's like, I'm not switching, because these tests aren't unfamiliar. That's the hidden gem or the silver lining of being banged on regularly. People pressing you. And the first couple times you get pressed, I ain't gonna lie, I shied away 13 or just coming out of middle school into high school.
Yeah.
You know, where you from? I ain't from nowhere. I'm just heading to school. Well, what area you in? Well, I'm over here. I'm answering all their questions, and it still ain't good enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, by the time I'm grown, they like, where you from? And it's like, bro, I ain't on that, but you know, I'm from Inglewood.
But that's where I'm from. Yeah.
Like, we ain't on that. It's love, bro. But I'm
Yeah.
from, and then they like, all right, for sure. Because that being that direct, but still understanding and not returning the negative energy, but matching it a little bit.
Yeah.
It, you know, that's what gives you that pass where people understand, like, okay, I didn't graduated from the little guy to the guy.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's a different strength and pride, and not that any hood in the United States can't give you that, but the West is the West.
The West is the
you know,
West.
so.
Yeah. What about school, right? So you went to a very musically embraced school for high school, and then obviously from a family perspective, right? Do you think that those roots have helped you have this career? I mean, we're talking about decades you're spanning now between playing music, being an artist. Do you think, you know, the school that you went to or the area that you're from contributed to some of that as well?
Man, yeah, being in Inglewood, I was part of the marching band. I was, you know.
First of all, hold on. How many instruments do you play?
I play two well.
Okay.
You know, I play drums and keys, and then I can write from the guitar. I play guitar.
Okay.
But four. So I can also play, like, there'll be songs where I've played, you know, bass, guitar, and keys. Like, that was the case on Frequency. I play bass, guitar, and keys, you know, and then I've played drums for my church coming up and stuff. So, but no wind instruments, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But what was the initial question?
Being from the school that you went to for high school and the family that you are, how does that help you for the longevity of your career and the balance that you've had from being both an artist and in the music space? Yeah,
well, music is two things, right? It's technicality and then it's content. So it's like you got to put it together. But like the technicality is like, okay, you know how to use, say you're a kitchen, a chef, you know how to use the knives, you know what level the fire should be at, you know what ingredients to put in it. But the raw ingredients is like what you've been through, who you are, what's your character, and what is your mission when you make music. You know, that's what you're using. That's the raw material. And so Inglewood gave me the raw material to where when I talk, people like, oh, he has something to say. Yeah. In the same way that this Crenshaw district gave Nip the raw material. Technically, we both approach music very differently. Yeah. Technically, I'm influenced by Outkast, by Corrupt. You know, Nip is influenced by Corrupt too. You can hear that, you know, especially they from a similar section, you know. But I'm influenced by some Jay-Z, some Busta Rhymes, some like real technical lyricists, you know, mixed with the West Coast stuff. So I approach music, of course, different than a Nip, you know. But my upbringing gave me like something to say that's worth listening to. For sure. You know. So.
For sure. If you had to relive one on stage moment, it was just like, what?
I mean, I think people know.
That be?
I think people know the moment on Rhythm and Flow when the kids pull up, you know, West Side. I just forgot my lyrics, man. I just blanked. You know, maybe I didn't get enough sleep. Maybe I just like, I don't know. I didn't have the right breakfast, but I blanked on stage. And it's funny because I personally would relive it, but there's so many people who wouldn't have that performance go any other way because on that show, you know, you hear all kind of crazy stuff like, oh, he's too good for the show. He's planned it and like whatever. But on that show, I think people wanted to see you be human, and I'm such a perfectionist artistically that what they got to see beyond my creative approach to it was how I recover. You know, I think it showed a lot of heart. I didn't want it to be that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I lost myself in the verse, searching on stage. Some of it was me like visibly beating myself up on stage. Like, and then when I found the lyric, I got back into it and performed with whatever my heart had left to give. And so that's what I would love to have done that perfectly. I think people would have been like, that was genius, you know. But with it being imperfect and them still seeing that, I think it was special, you know. So I think, you know, that fool T.I. said, man, that's my brother. I don't mean that fool, but like, but my bro T.I. said, he said, man, I felt like that second verse was the best verse I never heard, you know, because I started getting off and lost myself on both verses. But it was, you saw the creative direction, you saw the intent, and it was almost, it's like if you go to a show and your favorite artist is moved by the applause and the people, and they just break down and cry in front of the audience. What's the audience gonna do? Cheer, like, we're here with you, you know?
For sure.
So, and that's the beauty of art, but again, I would redo it, you know what I'm saying? And I've done that at shows where, and the way I introduce it is, you know, hey y'all, there was this moment that the world saw, and I would like to relive this.
To get this to y'all here.
And give it to you the real way, you know. So,
man, when did you realize that you have a great ability and you wanted your music to kind of like span different genres of music? Yeah, you a rapper, but you bring in, you know, a melodic approach to things and the different tempos, and like you say, this latest album takes you from like grunge all the way through to the beauty of you know, the art.
Sure.
At what point for you was it like, that's the kind of music that I'm gonna make?
I mean, it was early as 10 years old. It was the albums that I loved the most. Did all that.
Yeah.
You know, my favorite album of all time is ATLiens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then close behind is Aquemini, you know.
Both of them Outkast.
ATLiens, Aquemini, Stank On Me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my favorite rap albums, right? And I got some other favorites, you know, love what early Kanye was doing. Love Jay-Z albums. Snoop Blue Carpet Treatment is so underrated. Like, it's so many albums that I just love. Busta Rhymes, like, It Ain't Safe No More. Like, it's crazy albums out there that, you know, Big Bang Theory is nasty, you know, so it's a lot. I'm a big Missy and Timbaland fan. So music, when it's daring, when it's soulful, when it has dynamics, so it'll entertain and it'll break down and make you think, you know. That's what I always wanted to do, you know, and I always wanted to do it with live instrumentation woven throughout, crazy beats and 808s. You know, that fusion of something that you just turn the mic on and hit something and make a sound with 808 that you could only produce with, you know, with the right equipment. I think that speaks to the Black experience. You know what I'm saying? Because this big pot of brilliance mixed with heart, mixed with, you know what I'm saying, mixed with just some of everything.
Yeah.
So.
I love Devin the Dude's album. I forget which. It was one of his early albums, and there's a skit on there when he calls in. He said, "Hey man, I'm looking for the boom." It's like, give me the boom. He's like, put everything else on the melody, but we also gotta have that 80. I need the boom that brings it all together. For sure. Yeah, it gets our body moving. Like, just because we Black, well, like we
Black. And what's crazy is, man, I want more boom. Yeah. Like we just got off tour with Jay Taj, incredible artist. Yeah. And I'm talking about, I could learn from Jay Taj. Some of what he does is so thoughtful and seasoned and just like poised to where the stage presence is crazy. Yeah. Like, you could just watch his show. Like, he should be in stadiums now, you know. And he has some songs where when that boom drops, I'm backstage getting ready for my set, and I'm like, man, do we got any that do that? Like, come on, man, let's go back in, you know. So, but big shout out to him, man, and sure. We look forward to doing more shows together and all that stuff, and so, but yeah, the boom is necessary.
The boom is necessary, and then you got a little ritmo, you know.
El ritmo, a little bit of ritmo, for sure. Yo hice un poco de español este álbum, you know. Hay unos versos en el verso al final de Chin Up. Yo
Puro
tuve que
español.
terminar en español y también en ¿cuál era? En Fire, you know. So you got to speak to it.
¿Fue un profesor de español?
Sí.
Okay,
Sí,
okay.
yo era profesor de español en Inglewood High,
Okay.
pero también en Westchester High y View Park. Y también trabajé en Hawkins High School. Y después de eso yo enseñé como un sustituto. And también enseñé música en High School for Recording Arts. Entonces yo pasé como 10 años como maestro. La mayoría del tiempo era maestro de español, pero los últimos años enseñé arte y diferentes cosas porque era un sustituto. Entonces, donde me necesitan,
Sí.
me necesitaban, yo trabajaba ahí. Entonces, but yeah, we don't need subtitles.
Si no sabes, puedes aprender.
Eso.
Yeah.
Hey, put the subtitles when you edit.
Come on now, yeah.
You know, so, but yeah, that's. And to answer a previous question, when I found out that Spanish was going to be a part of my art and that was going to be another bag I dipped into is when, you know, when I was majoring it, I was like, okay, well, I tried it. I did it here and there. But when it was like, oh, this needs to be a main staple was when, and it was 2011, you know, right before my homeboy, who was my rap partner, he passed. His name was Chiz. Right before he passed, I remember sitting with him and, you know, he wasn't doing too well. He had cancer. And I told him, hey, we about to open for Kendrick Lamar, you know. And this is right when Kendrick was about to, like, blow. But he already had a crazy, you know, grassroots following.
Yeah.
And so, and ours was just local. He was already doing stuff. So we opened for him at Whiskey A Go-Go in Hollywood. And it was packed out. Mind you, we had performed at Whiskey A Go-Go before. They hit us like, we know y'all will come out and perform for however many people. This night's going to be packed, so y'all want to do it. Y'all want to go to. So it was like, for sure. We hit the rehearsals up. We had this intro where we played off the song Stevie, living just enough for the city, right? Mm-hmm. So we had DJ Quest Coast spin that. Then the band started playing that line. We did our own version of that. So if you musical, we kept it 4/4.
Yeah.
That section is a different count. Like it's we switched it. It's more like Usher when he flipped it. So we started off there with the band. The crowd, mind you, they were damn near, they didn't boo anybody off stage, the other openers, but it was that pay to play era where any random person could kind of be there. They just were super loud and wasn't paying no attention to the openers. So when we got up there, they didn't know our music. They didn't know us, but it got silent because they was like, hold on.
Sound good.
This is dope.
Sound
like,
good.
this ain't Kendrick, but what the fuck is this, right? So everybody went silent. I'm on the keys at the time. The beat drops. I step out from the keys and I start rapping. So they're like, okay, this is dope. And mind, we got a full band. Kendrick, he was about to rock with DJ, so ours was like, fuck this, we gonna go.
Right.
I'm rapping, they like listening, but they're not even really nodding their head because they're like, what's happening?
Yes.
Right. This is dope. We off guard. And so we get through the whole hook. And then in the second verse, the band drops. Boom. And I was like, si tú me entiendes, te lo digo. Andar en mi zona, eso es no más suicidio. Band drops back in. The crowd goes nuts.
Crazy, yeah.
Loses their shit. I'm talking about, they grabbing each other and shit, right? And I'm seeing it from stage. And I got to keep rapping. And they went nuts then they went nuts. It was 3 times when we went a cappella, and it was all harmonies. Just me, Sir, Tiff, and Dave. We doing 4-part harmony a cappella. They're like, who are these people? Yeah. And then when the beat dropped out, and Tiffany Goucher, dressed like a boy, baggy clothes, starts singing, and she sound like Lauryn Hill. They go crazy, you know. And that moment kind of let us know what was what, you know. And the irony or the the fateful thing about it was Sir ended up getting signed to TDE, you know, a couple years later. And so, but that's when I knew, like, okay, this Spanish thing is gonna allow me to stand out. You know, because I'm a big Kendrick fan too. I know I talked about my favorite albums, and his are in there, but I'm just they came in at a time where I already kind of had a sense of what I wanted to do, and when Kendrick came out, I was like, he got it right in so many ways. And so, and I even heard like Andre 3000 came in and listened to Good Kid, Mad City before it came out, and so him being from Compton and rapping and with so much soul and gangster and content, and I was just like, he understands it. So for me, the Spanish was a big distinguishing factor, because it's like, all right, this artist is right now doing something that I feel like is so aligned with what my mission is in music that I gotta do something different in order to distinguish my approach. And I've been working to teach black people Spanish, or just bridge that gap between the black and Latino community since a kid. So I think that was another moment where I was like, all right, here's how I'm gonna approach that in order to pave my own lane. You know, especially when one of my favorite artists is currently active. Like Dot is one of the greatest.
Dot, that go back. You know, if you know K Dot, you know,
Man,
Kendrick.
come
you
on,
know,
man. What? What? He's the early mixtapes were crazy. You know what I'm saying?
That was and that rises about the time I'm coming out of college. So you starting to group your collective of hitters together. Kendrick's right in that collective.
Kendrick and Cole.
And they've been consistent ever since. You know,
sure.
they to your point, like those that rise to the top, you consistent. You know what your lane is. You're not tracing every shiny object.
Right.
So man, shout out. Of course, you
Shout
represent
out to
the
Overly
West.
Dedicated.
For sure.
I was playing Overly Dedicated in my classroom one time. I used to put on rap music to help calm the nerves of the students. And I didn't know it was the day where the principal was gonna bring the whole heads of the district in and all that stuff. Man, so I didn't know I was gonna be observed. This is like the principals used to be at me like, man, we keep hearing your name on campus. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it, because it's working. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna teach my way. It happened to be that day that as soon as they opened the doors, the principal, this black lady, and then 4 white people from higher ups walk in, and the first thing Kendrick say is, "Smoke to it, nigga." Drink to it, nigga. I'm like, fuck, why now?
Why now?
You know what I'm saying? I should have had something else, but classical music playing. But it was funny, man. I the music has always even been a part of the classroom, and I would play my own music. And I remember students would be like, I never heard this. This sound like him though.
Yeah,
and
right.
And they'd be like, this you?
Right.
And then I'd be like, yeah, that's me. And then some of them be like, why are you a teacher? Like, this is good. What are you doing? You know? So it was just my journey.
Yes, sir. Man, journeys, we all have different journeys. We all have different paths. We all have different detours. Thinking about your overall journey, man, if you were to go back and give yourself a young DSmoke a message, what would that be?
I would tell him, don't spend no more than $20K on a music video. Now that one's for Greg. I would just say, keep going. I'd say exactly what my uncle said. He said, you're doing it, keep going. And when he said that, that's when I was living at the storefront. And of course, at that storefront, the things we were able to do were groundbreaking, were super memorable. It was grassroots. We built, you know, but it was always that piece of like, how do we make this shit make millions? And jam sessions don't make millions. You know what I'm saying? But it was so meaningful to the foundation we were building. It's the very place from where Sir got signed. We used to have artists like Alex Isley, Kenyon Dixon, Terrace Martin, Robert Glasper, all of them came through that very space. So, and now that everybody has gone and toured the world and gotten Grammys and all that stuff, you know, it's the respect we have for ourselves and our peers because of that time is high, and our sense of direction has everything to do with, you know, us having that era. You know what I'm saying? But so my advice would be just keep going. Yeah. You know, keep going and keep learning and applying what you learn. So that's the caveat. Absolutely. Don't just keep repeating it, and then because then you kind of get stale and you blame everybody if you're not learning and applying that. Because I do know artists that's like, I've been doing this forever and the things ain't. You do gotta own that you were responsible for where your career ends up.
For sure. All right, brother. Okay. Now the music is amazing. Now you dabble a little bit in acting. You know, a little bit.
I wouldn't even say dabble.
Come on, you know, yeah.
Dabble,
I don't want to understate it, you know.
No, I started acting at like 12, and for the first 2 years of acting, and me and all my brothers started. Tasha Smith got us into acting.
Man, Tasha name came up a few times on this season.
It's her. She's her, and she was our acting coach, mentor, all that. For 2 years, we didn't book anything. My brothers decided, hey, this ain't for us. I got a car and kept going and started driving myself to auditions. And then 1 year, around when I was 16, I just started booking. And I was on Judge and Amy, CSI, Boston Public, The District, you know. And then I did a movie in Canada called Our America. And that was all in high school before I was a senior. So going into college, my manager was like, hey, your trajectory is healthy. Yeah. You know, keep going. And, but she was sending me on all these auditions that were like Disney-esque or Nickelodeon. And I was like, look, I'm a serious actor, you know?
Yeah.
And so we had differences, and I stopped for years. And then, of course, when I won Rhythm and Flow, one of the first people I called was Tasha Smith. And she was like, baby, we're going to get you right back into acting. And the craft never went nowhere. Right. I remember the just digging deep to access parts of you that could resonate with the character you're looking to portray. Yeah. And her looking me into my eyes and being like, go again, go harder, try again, pushing you. Yeah. And so that very muscle I had to stretch again when doing Mayor of Kingtown. Yeah. And but they trusted me based on, you know, and even in my music videos, it's always something cinematic, always something, a story that's trying to be told. Correct. And so I got, you know, that gig without audition. It was on the strength of, DSmoke, you know, his videos look like this. His following is strong. There's this character. He may or may not have this arc where he goes up. You know, we might kill him off. We might, depending on how well DSmoke does, you know. Yeah. And I've seen, you know, a lot of people get killed off on the show, but I'm now on, I've completed my 3rd season as Raphael on Mayor of Kingtown and hope to go into the 4th. And it's a captivating show. And the irony or the special thing is that my dad, when I was little, he was locked up, you know, from the time I was like 2 to the time I was 8. And he got out once and went right back. And so playing that character is both something that I talked to him about, talked to the homies who have been locked up about. Yeah. And my goal was always to add truth to it, you know. The writers are going to do one thing. They going to, you know, if that character is violent, I'm going to be violent, you know, and there's plenty of that, you know. But how can I humanize this person so that they can understand the reality, you know, of living under those circumstances, you know? And the writers also, they rounded him out too, to where he has a family that makes it so that he's willing to do whatever to survive this place, you know? And so they've had me speaking in Spanish, playing instruments, negotiating, fighting, doing stunts, and it's everything that I want to do in my acting career. As it grows, I'm able to practice here, and it's captivating, you know. So
no, I love that.
Mayor of Kingtown, big shout out to the writers, you know, Taylor Sheridan, Hugh Dillon, you know, Jeremy Renner, and all the homies, the incredible actors from Toby Bamtefa, you know, all of those people. It's, you know, it's a family on set too. So
Man, if y'all haven't seen it, Paramount Plus, check it out.
yeah.
I love it's very well written. It's very well directed. It's very well acted. Like it's a dope series. And so man, kudos to you on that.
Thank you.
Wow, let me come back to the music real quick before we get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
What city in the world that you performed at was like, I mean, just everything was just like the crowd was engaged the way they were supposed to be. The music was hitting the fans they were supposed to be. And I'm not necessarily like what was your best performance, but what city in the world would you say was the best to perform in front of?
It's a couple that come to mind. Can I do a top?
Come on, give me a top.
The first one that comes to mind where the feeling of the energy in the room was unmatched is Amsterdam.
Really?
When we went, and it was not a huge room either. It was probably like 400 people packed. And soon as the music hit and I stepped out on stage, man, that crowd gave me every bit of energy I thought I could give them. They was giving it right back, and it was a moment for me. I felt like I got a show. You know what I'm saying? Like they was, man, they were there. They knew how to respond to music in the moment to basically let you know that it means something to them. You know, and there are audiences who probably feel the same way, but don't respond in the moment the same way. So we don't feel it till afterwards. You know, Amsterdam is the first one. Luxembourg. You know, Copenhagen. And Copenhagen was interesting because I don't think it was a black face in the whole crowd. It was probably the whitest audience I've ever performed in front of. And I promise you, they was with every word, to the point where a kid who I knew wasn't completely fluent in English knew all the words. And I kept seeing him rap along, and I handed him the mic. Like mid-song, he's super 5 for the low. You already know. Hurry up and let me go. Hurry up and let me go. And he was 12 and with his dad, and I was like, you know. But on this past tour, there was some markets that were just like special. And shout out to everybody who came out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
But quiet as kept, Canada always on both sides. You know, Toronto, and what's the first one? Vancouver, Vancouver, we started off with Vancouver, and they set the bar high. And Seattle showed up big. Portland showed up big. LA went crazy.
Of course.
Big shout out to the home team.
Of course.
LA went up. I'm talking about from the gangs to the you know, family from way back to just fans that just to like it was just beautiful people all over the, you know, LA was bomb. Denver, Colorado was the only place that actually had a thug shed a thug tear. I shed it real, you know, and it's a moment, and it was just because, you know, it was a special moment where I felt the presence of my lost ones in the room, you know, and the crowd. You know, the moments that they responded most to were those vulnerable ones. The song "Good Morning," you know, and then New York was epic this year. You know, I've done New York several times, but this show in Brooklyn this time was dope. You know, and they were super giving the energy back. But it was a lot of places. You know, Denver is always repping. You know, Atlanta repped. You know, it was dope. It was. And we did 18 cities, so I could name all of them. But the ones that was like, we gonna give you your flowers by yelling and rapping along. Like, I'm talking about, these people knew the lyrics. I forget which city that was, but they knew some lyrics better than me. Like, and they was helping me trying to get through. You know what I'm saying? But it was dope, man. But those places, when you get out, the irony is like, you go outside of your city, and people appreciate it in a different way. You go outside of your country even more. You know what I'm saying? In Europe, when I performed in London, man, they wouldn't let me get away with not doing their favorite song.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't they? Like,
Right.
Black Hobbits. You know
Come
what I'm
on,
saying?
don't forget about it.
Come on.
Don't forget about it.
So it was tight, man. Big shout out to the people overseas, you know, that's showing love. I can't wait to pull up.
So I'm gonna put you on the spot.
Okay.
One gotta go. Sorry.
All right.
Are we talking about rap lyricists? One gotta go between Jay-Z,
He not going.
Busta Bus, Andre 3000,
He not going. And I don't want Busta Bus to go neither.
Lauryn Hill.
Oh man, y'all not doing me right.
Come on, man. You know what I
Y'all
mean?
wrong.
You gotta pick
Y'all
one.
wrong.
You gotta pick one.
Man, why would you do that? Because, well, one, let's start off. I met Busta Bus twice.
Okay.
The first time I was in New York, he was leaving the studio, and it felt like a fan moment because I was like, Bus!
Yeah.
He coming out the studio, he's like, hey, what's up? He's being polite, but it's like, he tired. So I'm
Yeah,
like, all right, let
yeah.
me leave it alone. The second time I met Busta Rhymes, we were at an event, and there was a line of people to meet him. But he had obviously by this time like been more informed of the movement and what I do, and he shut stuff down. Like, everybody hold up, let me have a moment. He was like, God, don't say nothing back to me. He was like, you are a king, and what you do is so important. I just want to give you your flowers. You're incredible. And I was like, thank you. He's like, nope, you can't say.
Don't
you
say
just gotta
nothing.
receive this.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, and if that went on for like 3 minutes, and I was just like honored because he just wanted to make sure he used his influence, you know, his voice to speak into my life. And Busta is an influence on my career as well and how I approach rap. That being said,
He said with
he
the
gotta-
four that's there. Yeah.
he gotta go because it's not he gotta go. The others gotta stay.
Yeah.
Lauren
yeah.
gotta stay.
Yeah.
I don't have to say why Lauren gotta
Yeah.
stay.
Yeah.
Like, Lauren got some of the best verses ever on her MTV Unplugged album. It's like crazy. Andre 3K gotta stay just because that's my introduction to rap that ain't gangster rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That the South got something to say. They
Yeah.
changed the trajectory of popular rap permanently. It gave everybody an option to be like, okay, you got these two sides, but we can also do that, and we can also do this creative stuff and take it to the top.
Yeah.
Jay-Z is still arguably one of the most influential rappers that ever did it, and a lyricist.
Yeah.
So to be able to be that popular and that good at the craft at the same time, I think he you know, he can't go.
He can't.
It's
go.
really nobody goes, but it's three that can't go.
For sure.
But yeah, Busta's so underrated.
Yeah.
So underrated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, y'all gonna have me in trouble. He gonna see this and then be like,
what he gonna do is he gonna hear the part you just made that really, really point. Let me get my reverence first.
Got to.
Before I
Got to. You know what I'm saying?
make a selection, because I had to. You had to pick one. We put you on the spot. You had to pick
If you really
one.
want to party with me and God we trust, yo, it's so much that you heard of us, yo, we murder us. A lot of people is wondering and they curious. Make up my niggas deal with it so mysterious, furious. All my people is serious. Shook niggas be walking around fearing us. Frontin' baby like you don't want to be hearing us. Gotta listen to how radio be playing us. 30 times a day it'll make you delirious. Damaging everything all up in your areas. Yo, it's flip mode, stupid, you know, we about to buzz. 7-finger money, the label preparing us. Mad at us. You know, come on, man. We got those. Buzz. It's your boy, you know. So
Nah, man. Sorry, you had to play the game.
I had to play the game. Y'all got me.
No, bro, man. Well, DSmoke, bro, I appreciate you spending your time and taking us through the journey. You know what I mean? Taking us through the journey, man. It's been a pleasure, bro. I'm just sitting here just like, I love when people are passionate about what they do, and that passion just oozes from them, man. And so again, I mean, it might not be a lot coming from me to you, bro, but keep that energy.
Thank you.
Yeah, really, really keep that same energy. Don't let anybody take that from you, because that's the beauty of what you do for me.
Thank you.
I just want to let you know that. All right.
Pleasure, bro.
We gonna wrap this thing up. I always finish the show, man. the same way. We do Dear Black Man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so here in just a second, I'm going to have you look at that camera, and I'm going to have you repeat after me and say, Dear Black Man, you'll give a message to our community. Now, before we do that, I know we got to do 3 things as we wrap up the show. You got to subscribe to the channel. You got to like this episode, and you got to share this episode, because there is somebody who looks up to DSmoke and was like, man, I wonder what he thinks about this.
Mm-hmm.
Or somebody who doesn't even know who this brother is, but then they hear this story. They're like, dang, I can travel around the world. I can be from Inglewood, California, and go all the way to Amsterdam and do shows where people know my face, know my name, and know my energy and my music. So don't hold this episode to yourself. Be a real one. Share it out. Just because we love y'all helping us to spread this message of positivity from our community throughout the world. So DSmoke, man, I'm gonna have you look at that camera right there. Repeat after me and finish this statement. Dear Black Man.
Cool. Dear Black Man, you are strong, you are brilliant, you are capable, and if God is the ocean, you're a cup of that same water.
Straight like that, man. Bro, I appreciate this. I really do appreciate this, man. Y'all been on another episode of Check In with Black Menswear. We are out.